it's time for another review. What's up, everybody? Thanks once again for tuning into the channel. So today we are going to take a look at the Cajun card dealer, better known as Gambit. This is the one that was made by SooSooToys. I'll leave a link for it. You can check out the Sideshow Gambit figure that I did a review for. And so this guy and the Sideshow Gambit figure, it was like, that was the talk of the town. Everybody was mentioning the figure, doing quite a bit of talk about it, and so a lot of people were leaning towards the SooSooToys figure. And me, it's like I really don't want to start forming any kind of opinions until I see both of them in hand and make a decision for myself. And so I gotta say, I was kind of taking a look at the SooSooToys figure, and I was like, wow, okay, they did a good job on the head sculpt. I know the Sideshow was like the biggest thing that people were complaining about was the size of the ears, which, like, to me, it's like it's your own interpretation of how you do the figure. I mean, there's some of us out there, we couldn't sculpt a head to save our lives, and here we are commenting on how someone else did a different head sculpt. And so I gotta say, when I started to see the people who had this figure, there was like some complaints that were coming from this one. And so I was like, oh man, I was just looking at the comments that people were saying, and it was just like the quality really wasn't there and stuff like that. But some people were still saying that they would prefer this one over the Sideshow. So I'm letting you know ahead of time now. I apologize now for the length of this video, because I am going to be doing a side-by-side comparison for both figures for you. So let's go ahead and get started with this guy. As you can see, the box, give you a close-up of the box. The artwork is done really good. Obviously, this is not a licensed figure, so that's the reason why you got the Cajun card dealer instead of Gambit. But I mean, you can clearly see who it is. So we have this. This is the insert that you get on the inside. I do like the artwork. It's done really well. It's a really good, nice pose for the figure. Here are the cards that you get. They do give you a full deck of cards. And here we have our figure. So I will say, I did kind of open this up earlier just to take a look at some things, make sure that everything is there. So I'll give you a close-up look of the figure, which I'm going to tell you right now, this particular figure that I received, there was a problem with the head. So basically, the magnet that was on the inside, I guess they didn't glue it in properly. So as you can see, it's not the magnet's not there because it's stuck in here. It's I've dealt with stuff like this before, so I know it's a easy fix for me. It's just because that's just how they did it. They didn't put the the glue properly into the head sculpt. But overall, there's the quality of the inside, and for the side patterns that you have, this is definitely different material from what you get with Sideshow's Gambit, which I'll touch on that as well, as far as what I think of that. The coat itself, really, I mean, it feels pretty good, but I can already tell this is kind of like that material that if you have it in the wrong temperatures or whatnot, this could start to fall apart. The belt is already kind of curved. I do actually like that, because the Sideshow belt, because of the material, it's a little more stiff and therefore it sticks straight out. But this is something that kind of curves a little bit. So there's a quality for that. And let's take a look at the accessories that you get. So this is pretty much the same effect that came with the Sideshow figure. It was just a little bit of a different design to it. So you have the areas where you put the cards, and then this kind of has a wave effect to where it kind of goes up and down, as opposed to the Sideshow one, which is kind of straight, which I'll show you in a moment. But this part, you actually have the hand attached, as opposed to the Sideshow version, which you actually just take the piece and slide it into one of the fingers. But this is just the whole hand itself. So you have that piece there. I gotta say, this is one of the pieces that really grabbed my attention, that I really wanted to see in hand. And this is a piece where you can have the cards actually go in a swirl. So I thought that was a cool effect. So you have that, and you have your hands, which I'll just show you just a few. So you have the hands where we can actually hold the card. And this is another gesture hand, kind of like you can, point out. So I think the sculpting on it, I think it looks really good as far as the gestures for the hands. Nice painting for the gloves. I think it looks pretty good. So you have those. This is the other hair piece, which I'm going to show you a comparison between the two for the Sideshow piece as well. But this is the hair piece that you get for this one. And for those that don't know, it's pretty much the same as the other Sideshow piece. You basically remove this and you're able to place the hair. I'm not going to really mess with the magnet and everything right now, but just so you can be able to see the hair piece and how it changes the look. So it's kind of hard at the moment because it's not really going all the way down, but that's close enough. Looks really good. So I'm gonna tell you now my opinion as far as the head sculpt. I think the paint application is really good. I think it's a little more shine in the eyes. When you look at it pretty close, you can kind of see the red pupils in his eyes. So I think that's a good job. I think they did a good job for that. But let's see. Overall, I mean, okay, obvious thing as far as the ears are concerned, they're definitely not going as far out as the Sideshow version. That's just a difference in how they decided to do the sculpt. But we'll touch on that in a moment. So that's the first tray. On to the second tray. This is where you have your other hands that have the actual, the translucent glow that he has. That he's supposed to have from doing the kinetic energy. So overall, I think that is good. And pretty much these are just, I don't think this is really any paint to it. I think these fingers, I mean the actual hands themselves, I think they were just pink mold. They just molded hands and then they sprayed the black along the edge. But I think overall the hand itself was just a pink hand, and then they just painted the lower parts of it. So you have that, then you have your stand that you get, which, I mean, SooSooToys kind of does this a lot with their stands, and honestly I kind of like it. It's pretty much the same, and they just change the symbol in the center, and it works. I mean, it's something that is like, okay, yes, I've seen this before, but that subtle little change, just that little thing right there, just gives you, it makes you feel like you're getting something different that's unique to the figure itself. You know, you kind of do the same thing as far as Hot Toys is concerned. When they do that little sand base, you get the same sand base, and there's nothing that they do to it other than the Scout Trooper that they did for the Mandalorian figure. They actually made it kind of like a gray piece to it, but it's pretty much the same thing. This one, SooSooToys, is like they always give you the same base, but they change the symbol to cater to the figure that you're getting. So I think that's actually a pretty unique idea, and so I think they did a good job with that. So we have that. Let's see. You get, it's kind of hidden in here. At first I didn't think I got one, but so this is the Bendy Stand that you get with the base. And then this is the staff that you get, which I gotta say and tell you right now, it's a little bit thicker than what you get from Sideshow, and I believe it's shorter as well. But there's the overall design for that. So there you have it. Those are the different things that you get. So now I'm going to show you some of the things that you get with the Sideshow figure, and we'll do a comparison between the two from certain just from certain things, that certain qualities that this figure has in comparison to what you get with the Sideshow figure. So first of all, let's take a look at both figures side by side, and then we'll work our way to the other things from there, and then of course we'll definitely do some photos towards the end. So let's check out the other figure. Okay, so here we have the two side by side. This is the SooSooToys figure, and here we have the Sideshow version of Gambit. So first things first, let's take a look at the two coats. And again, we'll give you a closer look at the SooSooToys Gambit, which I do like the detail in the collar. I think they did a good job for that. I can tell you now, this literally looks like it was a, you know, like a paint job. I mean, it gives the impression that it was kind of wrinkled or whatnot, but literally when you see it up close and see it in hand, it feels more like it was painted on there as opposed to really making it look like a wear in the coat. But I'd say they did a good job as far as trying it out. I think they did good. It gives that wear, that weathered look. But again, if you look at it up close, you can see that it was something that was kind of painted on there. But overall, I would say it's good. It's just the material of the coat. It really feels like after a while it's going to fall apart if you're not careful with it. So that's definitely something you need to be mindful of. There's the inside. I think the paint application on this was done really well, and it gives us like a unique look as far as the material that he's wearing. And again, like I said, for this material here, this feels like something that over the course of time it might deteriorate after a while. So just, you know, be mindful of that if you have this figure or deciding to pick him up. Okay, so oh, one thing, also take a look at the boots and the tread underneath. This really feels like a soft plastic, so this is also something you just need to be mindful of. You don't want this coming apart on you as well, so just be careful with that. And as far as Sideshow is concerned, there's really no weathering that you can see on the coat, but you can see that instead of you know, kind of painting the area, you can see everything is stitched in. So just the quality of this, I can tell you now, this is going to last. Just how they did all of the stitching in the coat itself, you can tell that it's something that is definitely going to hold over time. So that's really good as far as that is concerned. Again, this is what I was speaking about when it comes to the belt, though. You can see just how stiff it is, whereas on the SooSooToys version it's kind of curved, so it looks a little worn, but this here is it's pretty stiff as far as the belt all the way around, and the tailoring, like I said, all the way down to the bottom is really good. And this is the other unique thing about this, is the inner lining. I think that is also really well done. That's really good as far as attention to detail for that. So that's where, to me, I think this is where the Sideshow coat shines over the SooSooToys one. However, the downside to this coat, and SooSooToys, I'm sorry, Sideshow decided to do this, was not include a wire in the coat. There's no wire. It's pretty stiff. It hangs all the way down, but there's no wire, so you really can't adjust it. Whereas on the SooSooToys one, there's actually a wire in the coat. You can actually kind of see it. I don't know what they were doing right here, but you can see that the wire is kind of sticking out on that. So they didn't really complete it, or they didn't really tailor that part of the job. But you can clearly see the wire in it. But I think overall, I think that's a good idea to have the wiring in the coat. I think that was a good decision. So that's the plus side to that coat and the downside to this one. But again, just the way this coat was tailored, you can tell it is going to last. The stitching is really well done in that, and that's how you can clearly see the difference there. As far as the material of this is the same material for the other figures that we've seen that Sideshow has released, and as a result of that, I can really get a range of motion in the legs, and it moves with the figure. This is something that you cannot do with the SooSooToys Gambit because of the material. But as far as this, look, I can literally put it completely forward and there's no problem because of the body that they chose, and the kind of material just goes with it. So that's a plus for me. And here you can see the difference in the way they did the torso. It's still just, you know, stiff, just like the SooSooToys one. And honestly, I think between the two, I think the SooSooToys, their torso looks good. I think just their design of it looks really cool. But I can see that this is a little more stiff than this one. This one is a little bit more flexible, just slightly, but enough to notice. Here's the boots and the tread. And you can see that this is actually just one solid piece all the way down, from top all the way down to the bottom. It's just one solid piece. Whereas the SooSooToys one, I believe this is a separate, it's not one piece. This is actually one piece. It looks like it was kind of glued on there separately, or however it was molded in. But it's not like one solid piece all the way down. It's actually just got the boot, and then this is a separate piece here. So that's just the difference between the two. So overall, when it comes to the suit, I think Sideshow did a better job when it comes to the quality of the suit, simply because I kind of feel like I can do more with this without having a concern that this would tear on me, or pieces would come off over time. If nothing else, the coat for the Sideshow one, that's built to last, and I don't believe it's the same. It's not going to have that same kind of durability between the two. So honestly, I think that that Sideshow has done a better job with the coat than the SooSooToys one. But when it comes to the torso, I believe there's just the way the SooSooToys one was sculpted. There's more kind of a muscle tone that was put into this one, as opposed to this one here. And it's just the comparison between the two. This seems like it's a little more stiff than this one. But the design, I think SooSooToys did a better job on the design for the torso. But again, I don't know, when it just comes to being able to move the figure around, I think they did a better job with the Sideshow figure. So there's that. Let me show you the difference between the hands that he comes with. So again, this was the hand that you get for the SooSooToys, and you could just see like I said, it looks like it's just one sculpted piece that was just, the whole thing was pink, and then they just kind of just sprayed the bottom of it. So you can see pretty much how they did the quality of that in comparison to Sideshow's hands, which Sideshow's hands, the way they do them is like they all have wrist pegs. They all come with the pegs already done. And again, you can see that the peg has the flesh tone to it, but I think this was done the same way. The whole thing was pink. It was just one pink piece, and then they spray painted the hands. But you can see that they actually added like a little bit of a flesh there towards the bottom, and then you see the glove. So it's not just just this piece here and then they just did it black. They actually put a little bit of flesh around the glove, around the edge of it, and then did the black on the other side. So honestly, I think the paint application is a little better on the Sideshow than the SooSooToys one. So, and it's pretty much done the exact same way for each hand. So there's that. So let's take a look at go back to the head sculpts. I'm going to show you the difference between the two as far as the hair pieces are concerned. So let's swap the hair pieces on both of them and see. So you can see how they look on both. They both done the same way as far as the use of magnets. I still have not taken the time to fix the SooSooToys one, but it's still it goes on just fine. So right off the bat, I'm going to tell you the difference that I'm noticing between the two. The plastic that they used for Sideshow, they used for their head sculpt, the plastic is thicker and honestly, I think it's better sculpted. So let me show you the difference between the two. And this is the one thing that I was noticing about the SooSooToys one, as opposed to what Sideshow did. What I noticed with SooSooToys, the hairpiece just kind of flares out. Okay, it goes over the ears, but that was what I was noticing. Like, you could see how it just kind of the hair just kind of flares. It just goes out to the side. And that to me was a little bit of a turnoff. That's just me. Just as far as they just made the hairpiece wide enough to just go over the ears. But you see what I mean. Okay, so you see that. That's the SooSooToys. And the difference that they did with Sideshow. Sideshow's piece, the hair actually comes down and then out over the ears and then goes along the back, and therefore it just looks like it drapes better. You see how this piece here, it goes down and goes over the ear, and then so you can tell that they didn't just make a wide piece and stick it over the head. They actually sculpted the hair to fit the shape of the head. And I think that's something that's to be noted between the two. Also, I'm going to take these two off just so you can see the difference in the head sculpt for the hair. So overall, let me see if I can adjust this light here. Okay, so as far as the hair is concerned, you can just see how, I mean, you can kind of tell that there are some different, they did with the different strands of hair and the direction that it's going in. Okay, but overall, it looks like it's just one, it's kind of hard to describe as far as just like one solid piece. So you can see the strands, but just the sculpting is not, it's not too deep. I'm gonna show you what I mean when it comes to the head sculpt. I'm sorry, the hair. This is the SooSooToys version, and like I said, it's pretty. You can just see just how flimsy the plastic is. It's not that thick, so I'm really not trying that hard to squeeze this stuff together. It's just, that's just how they the kind of plastic that they use. When it comes to Sideshow's version, you can see that there's, I don't know, it just seems like it's a little more detail in the sculpt for the hair. I mean, it just seems like more, it's like a deeper cut has been made into each strands of the hair, so you can see the difference between the two. And I'm doing the same thing. I'm trying to squeeze it, and I can tell it's a thicker plastic. Again, SooSooToys and Sideshow. So just the overall quality between the two is, I think it's a thicker use for whatever, you know, whatever plastic they decided to use to mold this. You can see the difference in the back as well. Okay, this is the Sideshow, this is SooSooToys. So you see the difference in the quality of, you know, just how they did the sculpt in the hair. And overall, I think Sideshow did a better job when it comes to the quality of the hair, simply because this seems like it's more sculpted to the head sculpt and not just an overall just wide piece to just go over. So because of that, this kind of hair looks like I said, it looks like it's flared out and not really like it's draping down like the Sideshow version. which I gotta say, I mean, me personally, when it comes to having the hair down, I think Sideshow did a better job. When it comes to the actual this hairpiece, I think SooSooToys did a better job with the hair. And so, how I'm going to display the two, I can tell you now. I'm going to have pretty much like this, where I'm going to have, you know, SooSooToys having this head sculpt because the hair is a little bit longer and it flares out. But when it comes to Sideshow, I think I'm going to have it where he's got the hair down on this one, which, I mean, it works good for me. I mean, that way I can have two versions and not trying to have the exact same look for each one. So that, to me, I think when it comes to this head sculpt, or this hair, I'm sorry, the hair looks better on SooSooToys for this one, and the hair looks better on this one for Sideshow. So yeah, that's those pieces. So let's take another look at the other accessories that these two come with, and take a look at it from there. Okay, so as far as the last segment of it, as far as the accessories are concerned, let's go ahead and take a look at the two pieces that are similar to what you get, and then we'll touch on the things that one figure gives you that the other one does not. So first things first, this again was the Sideshow piece that comes with figure. Again, you have your hand here, so you can pretty much just attach it to the figure, and you don't have to attach it to the hand. And again, you just have that one piece with the effect, the kinetic effect, going all the way around. And then this is Sideshow's version of that, and you can clearly see it that it looks like it's four separate pieces. So basically you have this one effect here, the kinetic effect, and then these look like they were separate pieces that were possibly glued on there, perhaps. Actually, it looked like it might have been just molded through. Just how it's done. But the way they've done it, the difference between the two is this one, the Sideshow Gambit, actually comes with cards, and then basically you just take each card and stick it inside each piece, like so, which I'll show you here. And you basically just take each card and slide it inside each piece, and therefore you could kind of just take the cards out and just use them for different different uses for that. So as far as the two, you can see how they did both pieces. So honestly, I think this is like a wider effect, so you can kind of get, to me it's a more dynamic effect, as opposed to this one, just slightly different. Again, you could just see the difference in the arch. How this one is just a little longer, going straight out, and this one is a shorter effect for that. Now moving on to the cards, that's the other thing that I was noticing. The unique thing about the cards is like, okay, so you basically just get a whole bunch of cards from SooSooToys. Just a number of different cards you can choose from. I'm not sure if they're stickers yet. I haven't taken them out, so I'm not 100% sure. But they're just plain cards. The difference between SooSooToys and Sideshow is, if you can see that, they actually took the time to paint the cards themselves. So you can kind of see there's a little bit of pink around the edge of the card, just as far as, just having that kinetic effect on the card. And also you can see a size comparison between this card. The Sideshow card is smaller than the SooSooToys cards that you get. So as a matter of fact, there's the two right there. You have two hearts right there, but you can see the difference in the color it's not just a plain white card for Sideshow. They actually put a little bit of kinetic energy around the edge of the card, rather than just just kind of printing them out, and that's it. So you have that. As far as the staff is concerned, so that's the SooSooToys staff, and this is the Sideshow staff. Definitely see the height difference between the two. This is more of a die cast staff with these plastic edges here, so that you can be able to slide them in the hands, and they're flexible around the edges. So you have a die cast staff for Sideshow, and then you have the SooSooToys one, which it does have a little bit of flexibility to it, but the whole thing is plastic. The whole thing is a plastic staff. So you have those two, and then your separate effect. Okay, so you have this effect here, which honestly I think looks really cool. This is the SooSooToys effect, where you can, I believe you could just take the cards. I'm not sure how to do this. I would like to just figure this out so I can put the cards in there. If you can't, well, it looks like you maybe just put half the cards here. I'm not 100% sure. I have to play around with that, but it's basically an effect where you can just take the cards, and it looks like he's swirling the cards all the way up. Sideshow does not come with that effect. However, one piece that they do come with is they put the flame effect on one particular card. So you basically just take the card, put it between one of the fingers or two of the fingers of one of the other gesture hands, and then he has that kinetic effect coming up from one of the cards. So it's not, a huge flare like the SooSooToys one, which honestly I think the SooSooToys one, me personally, if I had to choose between the two, I would go for that one over opposed to just the one. But still, this is a cool effect that you get with these Sideshow deck of cards. And again, these are smaller cards than what you get with SooSooToys. So like I said, overall comparison between the two, honestly for me, I prefer the Sideshow figure over the SooSooToys. It's just there's some cool effects that you get with the SooSooToys one, but honestly I just think that when it comes to Sideshow, I think they just their overall quality and durability of the figure, I think they did a better job. That's just me. And that's the whole thing. Really the point I wanted to make with all of this, it was like there was so many complaints from Sideshow, all because of the skin tone and the ears, and it seemed like everyone just wanted to completely dismiss the figure altogether because of these features. And here it is, we get the SooSooToys one, and honestly I gotta say that I agree. I think the head sculpt is a little bit better on the SooSooToys, but I'm not completely just dismissing the whole thing, because somebody who really loves Gambit, I don't think it matters. I think if they really love Gambit, they'll do what I did and just get both. Just have both figures and not completely just dismiss one over the other. Because I mean, the same thing for Wolverine. There's some people out there who really love Wolverine, and it doesn't matter, that one Wolverine looks different than a different company. They just love Wolverine, so they're just going to buy both of them because that's just what they want. So same thing when it comes to Gambit. I mean, honestly, I think that if you really love Gambit, honestly, I would recommend you get both. I think both of them are good. But if I had to overall choose between the two, I would prefer to go with Sideshow, simply because the quality of the figure, and I know that it will last a lot longer than the other one, and that's just That's just my personal opinion. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump into some photos of this guy and just see you know, what kind of styles, what we can come up with. And I'm gonna thank you now for, you know, taking the time to watch this review. I definitely appreciate it, and I definitely want to hear your opinion. So between the two figures, what do you think is the better figure? Which one did you get? Yeah, I would love to hear what you guys have to say. So thanks once again for your time. Let's go ahead and jump to some photos and see what we can come with, and we'll catch you in the next video. Have a good one.